If you're thinking about moving to Hickory, North Carolina, or if you've been watching our videos trying to figure out where everything actually is, this one is for you. Hickory might look like a small town on the map, but once you zoom in, you'll see that every part has its own rhythm, its own lifestyle, and its own little secrets. So we're gonna break it down by quadrant, north, south, east, and west, and talk about what's really in each section, from the lake and downtown to shopping, hospitals, and those tucked away spots that retirees and newcomers always fall in love with. So pull up a seat, grab your map, and let's take a locals look at how Hickory connects and where you might just want to call home next. And make sure you stay till the end because we'll cover what's up and coming in Hickory and how one stretch of highway completely changed life here for the better. Guys, so as we get started, I want to have a focal point for you of where most of you start your journey whenever you're visiting us in Hickory, North Carolina. Most of our hotels are in this, we'll call it southeast quadrant of Hickory, and we're going to explain what that means throughout the video, but I do want to kind of start with that because a lot of you are going to wake up right here. Towards the end of the video, I do want to let you know we're going to go over in detail how you're going to get from the airport to Hickory because there's a really great road that we now have that we use a lot and will be super helpful to you in your visit. Most of our hotels are right here, just south of Lenorine Boulevard, right off of Highway 70. So some of you guys stay at the Hilton Garden Inn. There's a Holiday Inn over here. This is all really close to the Hickory Convention Center. And as you know, in any big city, and not that Hickory's quite a big city yet, but in any city, you have the big convention centers and the big meeting spaces, and there's always adjacent to that a lot of hotels and different accommodations and dining and whatnot. So just keep in mind that as you're working through where you want to stay, most of our hotels are right here in this little section here. They've got like a Cracker Barrel and little places to eat. Very easy for your visit because you're gonna come up I-40 and then it's right here off of these sections. This will be a helpful starting point for a lot of you, so I just wanted to reference that so that it may make your visit a little smoother. All right, so for the purposes of this video and for a lot of the ways you guys may hear us communicate Hickory in the different areas, is we refer to it in quadrants. And if you're new here, that may be a little bit confusing because for one thing, all of our addresses are super long and they've got like northwest, southwest, Court Place. It's crazy. So as we're explaining the different sections of Hickory, I just wanted to define how we view that. And this is just how locals refer to it as. I'm sure this isn't science, but I do want to share with you, having grown up here, how we look at northwest, southwest, and how that's broken down. So Highway 127 runs all the way through Hickory. This is North Hickory, this is South Hickory. Okay, well, how do we define east and west on this course here? So there's a set of railroad tracks, and that sounds really funny to say we separated by the railroad tracks, but in a way we kind of do. There's a section of railroad tracks that goes right about through here. And it actually, I'll consider Tate Boulevard also to be sort of how we separate this out. Because through this quadrants here, you've kind of got the northwest side, which is very lake heavy, which is why the price points up here are a little higher, and we'll get to that in a minute. You've got the southwest side, which still has really good access to I-40, more rural, more farmland, better prices, incredible schools. And then you've got northeast Hickory, which is heading towards that St. Stephen's area, Cole Park area. And then you have southeast Hickory, which is where you've got almost kind of like heading into like Newton and Conover. And so a lot of this in the southeast Hickory, we had started out in this video sharing with you kind of baseline of where you'll probably be staying. A lot of you guys tend to stay in these hotels like right around here, which is right off of 40. It's near our convention center. And this is where we have the Target and the AMC Theater and the retail side of it that really kind of boomed up in this area in the early 2000s. So when we look at these areas, I just want you to keep that in mind, that is how we look at this. Northwest, northeast, southwest, and southeast. So hopefully this is helpful as you're referencing whenever we're referring to the different areas, because Hickory is a city. It's made up of a lot of smaller communities, and each one has its own feel to it, its own price point, and its own amenities. So that's why we're gonna break it down this way for this video, and let's jump into the different sections. Okay, so let's start with Northwest Hickory, because our office is located in Northwest Hickory. It's very walkable. The reason I want to start with this one is because for a lot of our relocation clients that come into town and they want it to be walkable, they want it vibrant, they want community, and they want to feel connected. And so Northwest Hickory is very conducive to that. I've kind of got it zoomed in here to kind of look at that quadrant for you. And we're just gonna pretend like we're just driving down the road together, because for some folks that they visit here for the first time, that's the best way to really get your bearings. It's just kind of drive around, and oftentimes we'll meet here at the office, which is right here in this section. The True North Realty office is right around here. We'll help you with all that if you come to town, don't worry. But what I want you to know is this is what we're dealing with. So this being 127, and I'm gonna draw this out for you because I really want you to be able to see. This is 127, all right? So this is where you start to get into this little downtown feel. And in fact, right here, you see Tasteful Beans. We eat there a lot. It's a cute little walkable place right off the main square. This is showing you this grid. If you see all this is all these little walkable streets. There's communities like Oakwood that is very historic and very charming, kind of has like a Hocus Pocus movie, walking around and trick-or-treating, like that kind of vibe in the fall. And speaking of Halloween, like an incredible place to trick-or-treat. So what you've got here is all these little downtown spots, some really good dining, really major parks in this area. Glen Hilton Park has a lot of walking trails. People feed their ducks, or feed the ducks little pieces of bread and like go out with their kids and stuff. Geithner Park, if you are into mountain biking, this is where you want to go. A lot of the retirees that we work with, they are super active, like so active, like Adriano and I can't even keep up. Like you guys are doing a lot of stuff. A lot of you guys are into like biking and doing things outdoors. And the reason I wanted to start with Northwest Hickory is because this is the area that's most conducive to that lifestyle. There's the City Walk, which we've done some videos about. Highly recommend taking a walk on the City Walk. It runs about through here, and we can do a whole video on that for you. But I like it that it's got some of the really good grocery shopping. There's a big Publix up here. There's a lot of water activities. So of course, Geithner Park being right on the water, there's a lot of walking trails there. But as you follow 127 up, you can go so far up 127 that you actually cross up into what we call Bethlehem. 127, whenever we talk about Viewmont, we're talking about that Northwest Hickory. And if you go far enough up 127, yes, you're still north. And yeah, we still call this Hickory. When you get on this side of the bridge, because there's a little bridge right here, when you get on this side of it, taxes come down. And I always preach this for everybody that comes to visit here. You can have amenities of all the nice Hickory vibes and not pay taxes for City of Hickory if you go far enough up here. So just keep in mind that you can be really strategic with having access to all the cool stuff down here, but avoiding some of the property taxes, because City of Hickory, you pay city taxes and state taxes. Depending on where you're coming from, a lot of you folks are coming from different states, and you guys have whole different set of context on property taxes. Some of you are coming into town and you don't have property taxes at all where you live, and some of you are paying out the nose for property taxes. So it's always part of the conversation, and that's another reason to have an agent to work with, just kind of help you look at the big picture of what it costs, not just to buy it, but what it costs to own it. And that's where property taxes is part of that conversation. So yeah, we're on 127 here. Let's just think about what's up here. What is there to do? So if you start down here at the corner of our quadrant of Northwest Hickory, yes, you are in Viewmont. Now, one thing I want to point out, and I want to be kind of delicate how I say this because I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. There's a big difference between Viewmont and Longview. If you're going down Highway 70, you're going to cross over 321, right? 321 is a major road for us. That's what takes you north-south, takes you all the way up here. That's how you get to the mountains. If you get on 321, that's how you get to the mountains. if you go so far west in Northwest Hickory, you'll eventually end up so far west that you're over here in Longview, right? Now, you'll notice there's some stuff up here. There's the Hickory Regional Airport. It is very small, like the Charlotte Regional Airport is how most of you get here. But there's a little airport up here. There's a little Crawdad Stadium up here. Nothing wrong with this area. But I will tell you, the further you go west, the more industrial it gets. Yes, there are residences, but they're not like formal communities. They're kind of scattered about and they're in between other things. So it's kind of a mixed zoning situation. If you go so far west, you do eventually kind of get into this Longview and Hildebrand. And this is going further out than most of our clients are looking for. There are some campgrounds out here, and we can do a whole video about RV travel because a lot of you guys do ask about that. But just keep in mind that some people don't mind living in Connolly Springs and a little further west because, well, you can just very quickly get on 40 and come right to Hickory, you know, no big deal. But if you want to be central to Northwest Hickory, then you want to stay east of Longview. You want to stay kind of in this area. This is more desirable, more residential, more housing options, definitely more dining options, definitely more walkable. So the reason we start with Northwest Hickory is because for most of our clients, Hickory, North Carolina is a huge retirement destination. And so a lot of our folks that are moving here are telling us, here's the things we like, here's what we like to do, here's what we want life to feel like. A lot of them end up in Northwest Hickory. So that's just why we wanted to start here. A lot of things you can do on the water, a lot of beautiful homes. There is also something called the SALT block. SALT block standing for Science, Art, Literature, and Theater. Really cool stuff that you can go and do if you've got your grandkids visiting or if you just have a young family and want to come visit. The Science Center is right here. And this is this SALT block area, right? Here's Lenore University, beautiful campus. Great for taking walks. Adriano and I walk there all the time. Folks that really enjoy golfing. This is also where you're gonna find Lake Hickory Country Club, but we can do a whole video about different golf courses because there actually is quite a few options up here. So guys, remember me talking about how there's a big church on Highway 127 and it looks like a castle? That's Corinth Church, and right behind Corinth Church is the country club. And of course it is near the water. So you've kind of got this area that gets just a little fancier. You've got Morse Ferry. You've just got some good parks, very walkable, good dining, things to do. It's a great place to start. For one, we usually meet here at our office in downtown Hickory and we kind of walk around with you. But also because, you know, really this is all of this is within 20 minutes of everything you see here. And there's a lot to do within that 20 minutes, like science and theater and music and little museums and really great parks and good grocery shopping, tons of church options. Of course, Bojangles, because if you're not from the South, that's a big deal here if you like sweet tea. And then of course, all the places that a lot of you guys are staying, which is kind of in this corridor here. So if you're staying here and you want to explore this area, this is all this area holds and more. I couldn't possibly, I mean, we could do a whole video just about Northwest Hickory, but just to keep things moving along, I just wanted to give you context on what's in Northwest Hickory, why it appeals to a lot of folks that are moving here, especially if you're like 55 and over. Welcome to the Living in North Carolina channel, your go-to guide for experiencing the best of North Carolina. From the breathtaking Blue Ridge Mountains to the relaxing Carolina coast, we will cover it all. I'm Katie, a lifelong North Carolinian eager to share the beauty and charm of this state. Whether it's enjoying sweet tea on the porch or exploring scenic trails, I'm here to guide you through what makes North Carolina so special. Are you planning a move? Get expert advice and tips. Are you curious about neighborhoods? We'll help you discover the best spots to live. Are you eager for adventure? Explore local gyms and attractions. So subscribe now and hit the notification bell. Our team of professionals is ready to help you make North Carolina your home. Reach out with your questions and join us on this exciting journey. All right, so guys, we're gonna actually go counterclockwise on our little quadrant. I wanna show you, if you go south a little bit, you still have really good access to 321 and I-40. That's our major roads here. So just keep that in mind that this is I-40, which is really how you get east to west in our state. And then you've still got 127 and 321. So just to stay true to our map where we were talking about 127. 127 runs from, all the way up in Bethlehem, which we just went over. But if you cross over all this mess here, and it's really, the traffic is not that bad here, probably compared to where you're at. But you cross over 40. First, you're gonna go through a teeny tiny little town called Brookford. Brookford is the smallest little thing we have out here, to be honest. It's really something you pass through to get somewhere else. So you see this on the map, but it feels like the letters should be smaller because it really is a tiny little situation here. So not much to see in Brookford. You pass through it, and then things kind of open up a little bit, and you're in what we call Mountain View. Now, Mountain View is what we refer to it as. Mountain View in and of itself is not a city. It's still Hickory. You're still in the city of Hickory. But if you go down 127, you go south, you're gonna notice things are getting a little more spread out, a little more rural. Mountain View really appeals to families with small children, folks that want to be close to access of the major roads, but they don't want to feel like they're living tightly with other people or like really like in a big city. Baker's Mountain Park is out here. I'll put on the terrain overlay so you can see it. We do have a little tiny mountain out here. Look, there she is. So we have Baker's Mountain State Park, which is nice for taking like small hikes. It's like something you could do with your small children. It's nothing crazy. You've got Mountain View Elementary, which is one of the top rated elementary schools in the area. Really, Mountain View feels a lot more low key. You don't see a lot out here, and there's a reason for that. It's highly residential. So a lot of what you have here is homes, and some are some really nice homes, guys. On Baker's Mountain, there's a community that, they're literally sitting on top of this little mountain, and the price points are a little higher, but man, it's gorgeous. Really well-built homes. Everything out here, very residential. You're not gonna see Targets out here. You're not gonna see a bunch of places to go grab sushi, and you may not be able to get a lift out here. Uber Eats does deliver some out here, but just keep in mind, this is where things spread out. It's accessible to everything because you have access to all the major roads, but it's not like in the middle of all the attractions and things to do. There's like a little mini golf place. There's some small offices like eye doctors and Japanese restaurants and the Food Lion. There is a really nice Lowe's Foods. If you are ever looking on your GPS of how to get to Mountain View, you're not gonna be able to type in Mountain View necessarily. This is how you can get yourself to Mountain View. And if you have an electric vehicle, this is also where you can charge it. So I don't know how many of you guys have electric vehicles, but this is a good little spot that you can charge them, and it's right off the main road. But yeah, these are like neighborhoods where people live. It's not like a ton to do out here. So there's some really nice areas out here to look at, but just know, like, the closer you get to this sort of center core here, this is gonna let you shoot off up north, go south. It's gonna let you really quickly hop onto I-40, which, as we know, is how we get pretty much everywhere east to west. And if you go far enough south and west, you'll end up in Vail, which is even more rural. If you are somebody that enjoys history and like these old cabins and communities, Hart Square is really cool. So highly recommend that. It's kind of out there on its own, and they finally started opening it up more than once a year. I saw Wayneo's pop up. this is the only little barn in Mountain View. On a previous video, you may have seen it, but we actually talked about how one time Adriano and I were driving by, and on the sign it said midget wrestling was going on, and so we didn't attend it, but we did hear about it, and that is right there. And then Franti Ford High School, great school. It's actually where I went to high school. There's a lot out here that's more for just the day-to-day life, and then you go further into Hickory to do your shopping, to do like eat out, go see a movie and stuff like that. So Mountain View had to be discussed because there's a lot of people that do live out there, and there has been a little more in growth out here because of the Target distribution center, which has been a huge source of jobs in this area. That's Southwest Hickory in a nutshell. And if you want to check it out, just reach out. So continuing counterclockwise on our little grid here, we're going to end up in Southeast Hickory. As we know, when we say south, we're referring to about right through here in south, right? And many of you guys are staying in these hotels in this area. So this is probably where your home base is gonna be during your visit. We're east of 127 and we are south of about this line here. Tate Boulevard is also a decent divider when you get so far east that the railroad tracks end. So what is in Southeast Hickory? Again, quite a bit of residential, quite a bit of growth that began in the early 2000s where you had developers coming in. We always talk about how whenever you're looking at making a move, you should look at where there's development and investment and growth. Well, this was where all the growth happened about 25 years ago, maybe 30 years ago. And it shows because this is where we have our Target, this is where we have our AMC Theater, this is where we have the TJ Maxx and Home Goods and the mall and things like that. So more retail and shopping down here, nothing crazy. I mean, if you want to go to South Park Mall in Charlotte, you're going to get the higher end stores, but like your everyday stuff, this is what you're going to find in Hickory. Southeast Hickory has little communities within it that make great places to live. I'll point out a few of them while we've got our map pulled up. Startown, super cute, good for families, little quieter pace. Startown kind of starts heading into Newton and Conover. If you're looking at kind of home base where you're probably staying, and we've got like the convention centers and Highway 70 and Chick-fil-A and all the things there. This is where you've got, like I said, more shopping, a little more retail up through here. And then you start going down Robinson, you start going down Startown. And one thing I want to point out to you, because when I was learning to drive, this was in my mind how these roads worked. And this may help you too. I always looked at Robinson Road and Startown Road as running parallel to each other. And they're actually quite similar when you're on them. A lot of residential on both sides, and both of them lead to all the stuff. So whenever I was younger and I was living down this area trying to get up, I knew I could take either of these roads to get up here. The shopping is basically like in between these areas. Here's our little trampoline park. You can take the kids to if it's a rainy day and they're bouncing around anyway. Here's our theater, got like O'Charlie's, Sam's Club, and Walmart is all up here. Now, right across from Walmart and Sam's Club is CVCC, which is our community college, which is on this Catawba Valley Boulevard area. We do have a Hickory Motor Speedway, a Lowe's Home Improvement. This is all here. But guys, as you're looking at this, oh, and Hobby Lobby, as you're looking at this, always keep in mind, like realize how close you are to 40, right? All these little residential places are down here. This is great. But you're gonna take Startown so you can do your shopping, and then you're gonna get on 40 and go wherever else you wanna go. So all of these kind of feed into the transit that's gonna bring you to wherever else you wanna go. So it's almost like this is the hub and this is where people live that wanna enjoy the hub. Catawba Valley Medical Center. This is a smaller community hospital. Northwest Hickory has Fry Hospital, which is the larger hospital known for their cardiac and healthcare. Catawba Valley Medical Center is a little bit of a smaller hospital. Each of them have their strengths and weaknesses, but a very respected hospital. And it falls in this category of Southeast Hickory. So you'll see this up here. And again, you start going so far east and you start heading into really Conover and Newton. Still very residential. There's some beautiful communities out here. Rock Barn is a very prestigious golf community. So there's little pockets of really high-end homes, but there's also very price accessible homes out there. So you go so far east and you actually leave Hickory. So I'm not gonna take you too far. Southeast Hickory, still a lot of growth potential there. Still a really good investment and simple living, quiet life, a little more space. So that's Southeast Hickory. So finishing up our circle of Hickory, we're gonna finish with Northeast Hickory. Just as a reference, of course, we know here's 127, and the railroad tracks kind of start to stop about here. So I really consider Tate Boulevard to kind of be our dividing line of north to south. A couple things about Tate Boulevard. First off, that's where all the medical complexes are. Tate Boulevard, if you're looking for like the VA, that's where you're gonna find that for medical care if you're a veteran. Adriano goes there. It's right here on Tate. Lots of specialty doctors and specialist offices. So that's here on Tate Boulevard. As we push north of that, you're gonna see, here's our little salt block, our science center. Everything here and up is considered Northeast Hickory. When I think of Northeast Hickory, I think of St. Stephen's, I think of heading towards Conover. 29th is a pretty big road for a lot of folks because it's another way to get into town, so to speak. If you're on 127 and you go down 29th, you're gonna hit another hub of shopping and grocery stores and a lot of good Asian food here, a lot of good different types of cuisine. The neighborhood Walmart, just this little intersection here. Keep going east and you're gonna end up at this pool park area. Adorable little, kind of feels like a pool club from like the 50s. We've taken our kids there during the summer. Very affordable and just good, clean family fun. Like, it's really sweet. Here's Snow Creek Road. The average price point up in this area, there's quite a few communities that are very price accessible, very good for like starter homes, like nothing crazy, like under 500, like nothing's gonna break the bank. The further you go north in Northeast Hickory, you're getting close to water again. And so the prices start going back up. And in this case, there's also some really beautiful country clubs up there. Lake Hickory Country Club is on the west side. Catawba Springs is on the east side, and they're like sister clubs. So this is Catawba Springs. A lot of our retirees do find that community appealing because it has a golf course, and we're gonna do a whole video about golf courses. So you have a golf course here with Catawba Springs, and you have a golf course here with Rock Barn. One thing that's really cool up here is, keep in mind, this is Lake Hickory, right? I know it's technically the Catawba River, so let us call it a lake, please. We like having a lake, and some people laugh and say it's a river. But there's also a Lake Hickory RV resort. It's really cool and it's really hard to get into. So just know, like, there's some really different types of housing up here and a lot of different price points. Springs Road was an area back years ago that was kind of what you went through to get to everything else. And here's part of the reason why, and we're gonna get to this at the conclusion of the video, but you'll notice that once you start heading east, keep in mind, if you're looking at the big picture here, Hickory is in and of itself northwest of Charlotte, right? So there's always gonna be a need for a path to get down into that Denver area. And that is where we're gonna go over in our last segment, this expansion and how it connects through to Charlotte, because Hickory is wonderful. We've gone all the way around the clock on it. But for a lot of you folks that are new to North Carolina, you may not have heard of Hickory, but you've heard of Charlotte. And Charlotte is still 45 minutes from Hickory. It's not that far. So we're gonna jump into the next segment on how all this ties together so that you can stay connected to the bigger cities as well. All right, so if you've made it this far in the video, you've gone all the way around Hickory with me. And Hickory is what we know and love. It's where we live. But I will tell you, Hickory is very closely connected to some bigger cities that we do also enjoy. And they do offer amenities that we don't have. So we like that we have the proximity to feel like we live in a small town where we're not on top of each other. It's not a rat race. We're not dealing with terrible traffic every day. But we can very quickly get down to all of that if we want to go try some different types of foods or just spend the weekend at a big football game or, go see a NASCAR race or something like that. So it was a really big deal for us whenever they expanded Highway 16. Highway 16 is how we get into this Lake Norman area, right? So if you look at from a big perspective, just to zoom out on not all of North Carolina, so just look at some context of saying, here's Hickory, here's Charlotte, okay? It's like a cogwheel, like there's all these branches off of it, right? So for us, the cogwheel that got us there was 16 because it went through, this is a terrible drawing, but I hope you guys see what I'm trying to say here. Charlotte is the destination for a lot of these sister cities. There's a lot of even crossing into South Carolina because here's the South Carolina, North Carolina line. Whenever we are in Hickory and we're going down to, Charlotte, oftentimes before we would take 321 to 85. Well, now we can get on 40 up here, take 16 down. Charlotte, of course, as many of you know, it's a great place to visit. Not a lot of our folks like to necessarily live in it. So there's quite a few people, even if they're moving here for a job or transferring here for something, if you're not retiring, There's a lot of folks that want to be close enough to Charlotte to enjoy it, but they don't want to live in it. But that's why Hickory's become such a sweet spot for people. As you can tell, we do have our lake and we love it at Hickory. It's modest, right? It's not anything crazy. Lake Norman is a lot bigger. So there's a lot of folks that enjoy living on Lake Hickory water because the water to live lakefront here versus to live on this water is like a $300,000 difference in some cases for the same house. So just know you're really not that far from everything else. And the fact that we have multiple ways to get down there, this is just us sharing with you. Our preferred way is to just go down 16. If you are flying in, well, this is where you're gonna land, right? And then you're going to head northwest, up here to Hickory. So there's a lot of folks that if they want to have that proximity, they know that these are their main roads to get there. So Charlotte, just wanted to put that on context for everybody because for a lot of you, that's what you know in North Carolina. When we travel and we tell people we're from Hickory, sometimes they're like, oh, Hickory, I've heard of that. Like, oh yeah, we're just outside of Charlotte. So that's how we explain to people where we live. So you can see, this is the same way with Dallas and the same way with, all these major cities that have, all the roads seem to lead to there, right? Well, these are the roads that we take to get there. So I just wanted to share that with you because there's several ways to get down there, but 16 and 321 have been, in our experience, the best way. Hopefully this gave a little bit of context on where things are in relation to what you may have already heard of, and also how to get from Charlotte up to Hickory in the smoothest way. When you look at Hickory from above, it's pretty amazing how everything fits together. From lakeside living in the northwest to the energy of downtown and shopping and healthcare access in the south and the open countryside of the east and west. But what's even more exciting is what's next. New restaurants and boutique hotels downtown, city walk expansions that will eventually connect straight to the lake, greenways, new housing communities, and continuous growth along Highway 16, the corridor that now ties Hickory directly to Charlotte and the airport. That expansion changed everything for us, making it easier for retirees to get world-class healthcare, visit family, or hop on a flight without giving up the slower pace and affordability that makes this area so special. Hickory really is the perfect balance. It's deeply rooted, community-driven, and growing in all the right ways. So if you're thinking about making North Carolina your next chapter, give us a call or text 704-234-7449 or check out our channel for more guides like this one. I'll see you in the next video where we'll take a look at what's new and coming soon to Hickory.